advised that everything in my video is purely for entertainment purposes. These are purely my thoughts and opinions and are subjective. I must advise you to please do your own research. All media used was found on the public domain and are fair use and fair dealings. There is a comical element to everything I say. Do not take it personally.
Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Meghan and Harry's attempt at controlling the media and shutting them out has poorly backfired on them, and in a terrible way. I came across this article written by a journalist for The Guardian called Susan Moore, and she couldn't have put it in better words, better than I can even say it myself. But she really did summarize what everyone feels about Meghan and Harry, but she also delved into the history of Meghan and Harry and why it has come to this point in the UK that the press pretty much despise, well, we know that the publications that they are refusing to speak to now really do despise Meghan and Harry because of their hypocrisy and the contradictory behaviour that we've all seen from Meghan and Harry. They say they want to live a private life. They go to Vancouver Island. As soon as they get there, Meghan's out, papped with the fake baby, walking the dogs allegedly, smiling from ear to ear like a Cheshire cat. And then the hypocrisy of it all. They jump on a plane amidst the pandemic and go to LA. She just summarizes the reality of this couple situation and how they are basically stepping more and more towards being very irrelevant, along with any kind of Archwell Foundation or charity that they want to back, support, you name it. It's only going to either be met with negativity or not covered at all at this point. So the article is titled "Harry and Meghan's Mistimed Attempt to Control the Tabloids Will Backfire." I really love the way she has written this. There's just there's a certain elegance that comes with reading The Guardian. So she says here, it has been less than 2 years since we were meant to be thrilled that some exotic, and she puts quote, and she's referencing, I think, another writer, was being introduced into the royal family with the marriage of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Never mind the racism inherent in headlines that announced the arrival of Meghan from almost straight outta Compton. And there was those headlines flouted about, which I thought was in bad taste. Also over here, based in the UK, there was quite a few documentaries rooting Meghan's roots and direct connection to slavery. She is a direct descendant from slavery. It's distant now for her, but obviously Doria is an African American woman, and there was slavery in America of the African Americans. So there was all of that done, and I guess that was to be expected, because even though the royal family has had black blood in it in the past and there has been a black princess before, it still was a new phenomenon. It still represented a moving of the times. So a lot of people were stunned that anyone from the royal family was marrying someone of colour. So the media did go in on that, and I guess that's to be expected. So she carries on and says, the wedding was seen as a triumph. The nation congratulated itself on taking this beautiful divorcee into its midst. And we did. I think a lot of people in Britain were initially surprised, and then that surprise went to joy and happiness and elation. I know that I was kind of dubious about this marriage and whether it was really real, or it just seemed very out of the ordinary. She didn't fit the brief of what you would expect a princess to be in this country, especially the British royal family. She didn't really fit, so it was a nice surprise. And it moved to excitement very quickly for a lot of people of colour over here. We were very excited. I know a lot of African Americans were very excited about it. I was personally excited. I thought, oh, this is great. This is the real modernisation of the royal family, and the modernisation coming into the UK. We're definitely moving forward in the way we think, the way the people think, and this is going to help with race relations and only push it to a better place even further. And obviously that didn't happen. Anyway, So I'm going to carry on and say, however, this acceptance turned out to be as flimsy as a veil. Meghan soon did all sorts of crimes, according to the tabloids, going bare-legged, being too woke, turning Harry into a social justice warrior. The popular press indulged in a nasty game of compare and contrast. Kate Middleton, bland, skinny and pliable, was the good princess, Meghan the evil one. Eventually, Harry and Meghan couldn't take it anymore and decided they wanted a new life outside of the UK. They also wanted to hit back at the press, stating with suing the Mail on Sunday for publishing a letter Meghan had originally sent to her estranged father, Thomas Markle. Hearings are due to begin this week. To up the ante, on Monday they issued an overwrought letter to the tabloids, The Sun, The Mirror, The Daily Mail and The Express, saying they will no longer deal with them. There will be no cooperation and zero engagement, the couple declared. What are they doing? In the midst of a pandemic, this letter looks purely solipsistic. Now is simply not the time for a display of their very thin skins when others are covering themselves in PPE to help the gravely sick. The court case, the grandiose letter and their exhibition of hurt has been met with predictable scorn from tabloid Rottweilers, and that's exactly how that's how you describe the tabloids. And it doesn't matter whether you're in Afghanistan, whether you're in New York, whether you're in LA, whether you're in the UK, whether you're in foreign. It doesn't really matter where you are in the world. The tabloids are like Rottweilers. They're hungry for a story. And if you hand yourself to them, and even I know this as a regular person, everything you hand to them or say to them or make comments, or they're going to make a meal out of it. And that's what Meghan and Harry have done. They've made themselves into some kind of prey with every reaction, and they have, I think she said it correctly, thin skins. You have to have a thick skin when you're in that position, especially a position of privilege and a public figure, and they just don't have that. We haven't seen that from them. Anyway, she carries on, but all of it indicates that the symbiotic contract between royals and the tabloids is even more dysfunctional than ever. The Sussexes, minus their royal duties, now fall into the category of celebs around which any gossip can be spun. If they had truly wanted privacy, perhaps they wouldn't have moved to LA, where paparazzi lie in wait too. We know this. The paparazzi in LA are probably celebrating because they know when the restrictions are lifted, they are going to make bags and bags and bags of money out of Meghan and Harry's activities and their mishaps out there. They've literally fed themselves to the wall, so to speak. And then she carries on to say, all rich and powerful people would love to dictate what the media says about them. This is not to defend the worst excesses of the tabloids, but Meghan's shock at her treatment by the British tabloids is hard to understand. And I think that's what everyone's grappling with. How can she be so ignorant to what is really going on and what the tabloids do? This is their job. They find salacious stories. They even put it in their letter of refusal to communicate with these certain publications. They find that's what they do. They hunt for the dirt. That's how they make their money. That's how it goes around, and it's a vicious circle. If they keep on feeding it, it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So it carries on here, and they quote Meghan. She quotes Meghan saying, I really tried to adopt this British sensibility of a stiff upper lip, she told Tom Brady in an ITV interview last year. I really tried, but I think what that does internally is probably really damaging. I never thought it would be easy, but I thought it would be fair. Even that statement in itself doesn't make any sense. Closing your mouth, getting on with it, going to your charity events, fulfilling your royal engagements, putting on an outfit, smiling for the camera, engaging with everyone at the event and going home with your husband, kissing him goodnight, kissing your baby goodnight, is not the British stiff upper lip. It's just common sense. In that position, that's all she has to do. That's what Kate does. Kate had a really tough time initially before she got with William. She was branded Waity Katie, and the media really took jabs and made fun out of her waiting around, being the queen in waiting and trying to get the ring. She was laughed at. She was laughed at. It was vicious. It was cruel. It was blunt, but that's what they do. They made a mockery of it. And Kate has never spoken about that. She's never acknowledged it. And we all know that she probably did hear the stories, but she's just gotten on with it. You know, she has a thick skin. She's a tough cookie. And it's not about Kate being a better person or being the superior princess. It's just logic. She's exercised in logic, which Meghan just doesn't have. She's very emotional. And this is something that Thomas Markle actually said in his interview in Mexico. And I agree with him. Meghan and Harry are extremely emotional. They're extremely emotional. What the media and the tabloids are writing about them really should be unimportant. They really should get on with it. There's so many celebrities that have come before them and that have come after them that simply do not take it in. I think the media making a mockery of them or talking about them, any press is good press. The way I personally see it. Any press is good press. And I think Meghan and Harry know this. It keeps you relevant. It keeps you out there. As long as people are talking about you. You have real issues when people stop talking about you. So their resentment and despising the media just does not make sense to me. And it doesn't make sense to a lot of people watching this soap opera that is going on. So she carries on and she says, fair it is not, and if Harry was attracted to Meghan's need to be emotionally open, he must also have known what happened to the last royal woman who would not be silent about her feelings, his mother. It took Harry a long time to talk publicly about what it was like to lose Diana. Yet somehow this couple have blown much of the goodwill they had by wanting to be both special and yet left alone, royal in name only. They didn't want to stay in Vancouver after their initial move out of the UK. Meghan has been on TV talking about elephants. They zoomed the Queen on her birthday. It's all so dislocated. That is the truth. They've done a lot of changing, a lot of chopping, a lot of moving. We had the splitting of the brand with William and Kate. Initially, they had the shared foundation and they split it, and then they created the Sussex Royal brand, and then they're not doing this anymore, and then they decide to step back, and then they move to Canada, and then they're not doing Canada, and then they're going to LA, and it's just like they're moving into Frogmore, and then they're not, and they're wasting them. Guys, seriously, I think that this negative press is going to stick. I just don't see them ever getting to a point of a mutual understanding and respect with the media, and you have to find that balance. You have to get to a point where they have an understanding of what you're about, and they have and you have an understanding of what they're about, and you meet a mutual agreement to help each other. And Meghan and Harry just do not. There's no balance in what they do. There's no stability in what they do. They're moving. They're creating pages. They're deleting pages. They're using pages. They're not using pages, and all of this up and down, left, right. It's just not going to work. So that's it, guys. It's backfired on them. I'll be back with another video. Bye, guys.